entire body. And so for that reason, President Holloway voiced, unfortunately, his request that we would likely not be having any in-person events. Our e-board is talking with senior administration on the Newark campus, at least, if our president has anything to add on.
Yes. So, right, commencement will remain virtual. It's the unfortunate truth, right, for our students. We assembled a group that met with Senior Vice Chancellors Thomas and Englot and Dean Williams to discuss their perspective. So some of the main points were that Kean University, Montclair, with similar student populations to us, are holding altered in-person events, right? That we are being affected by New Brunswick's larger student population, but it comes down to a matter of equity. We can't allow like one campus to do it and then like New Brunswick not, or like say SPA or SCJ can, but then School of Arts and Sciences can't. So it needs to be like unilateral. But on that note, the group that we had assembled was discussing potential plans and recommendations, including like some in-person events to replace the barbecue that was in existence in the past. So some different events there, how we can improve the virtual commencement, as well as an in-person stage for photos or to like symbolize that important moment. So that will be some of our main priorities, that we do want to have that available to students, some kind of like symbolic threshold for them to cross and have that photo taken.
Thank you, President. Yeah, I just did want to add on, while like our Rutgers Newark campus is comparable to other universities and campuses, like Dylan mentioned, it was a question of equity and equality. And Rutgers is one of the most complex institutions with many graduate schools and many different student types. So that makes the logistics of the event much more complex. Moving on, as always, for lines of communication, if you're sending emails or if you're planning an event, please do check in with the speaker with any of those and CC me as well. For finances, you can contact our Chief of Finance, Will Smith. And for further meeting, contact myself and the speaker. As always, we're recommending an informal deadline to send legislation or anything you'd like to add to the agenda by Friday at 12, just to ensure all the other senators have sufficient chance to look over it. Moving on to committee reports. Are there any reports from the Internal Affairs Committee?
May I be recognized?
Recognized. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Yeah, so whoever is in the Internal Affairs Committee, this is a reminder to please fill out the Let Us Meet. It is super important that we meet this week. So please fill out the Let Us Meet. And for all the new senators, just a little update. I know I've been through this with you guys, but if you want to join the Internal Affairs Committee, you are always welcome. The Internal Affairs Committee is the committee that makes changes to the charter and bylaws. So if you're interested, definitely contact me and join us, because we would love for you to join. Those are all my updates. I rest my time back to Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. Are there any reports from the Elections Committee?
No, Mr. Chairman. However, please, if anybody's trying to do this, I want to remind all the graduating seniors or graduating class, that please join. It is required by the charter that everybody that's graduating to serve on the Elections Committee. And if you are interested in it, or if you know anybody that is interested in it, please reach out to me via email, text, whatever it is. But it's very, imperative that we get them onboarded and have the elections start, because usually the elections get, kick off in March. sometime in March to April. And also by the charter and bylaws, it says that we need to establish the elections and to have the petitions be sent out 4 weeks at least before the elections. And we're really trying to follow the charter and bylaws this year. So please, if you're interested, reach out to me. And as Harrison said in the chat, it is open to the public. So just a reminder that it doesn't have to be anybody from the Senate or e-board.
Thank you very much, Chair. Are there any reports from ad hoc committees? Are there any reports from ad hoc committees?
Currently, no reports from the media committee.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any further committee reports?
May I request the floor, please?
Recognized.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Camilla. I'm the SPA senator. I'm also the chair for the transfer committee. I just wanted to give you all a few updates because I know we've been pretty quiet in the work that we're doing, but we're doing really great things. So I feel like we should highlight them. We had our meeting with the current members of this committee this past Friday, in which we are currently working on creating a presentation and doing a little bit more research on the resources that are currently present for transfer students and the ones that maybe need further evaluating or recommendations. We plan to make this presentation and hopefully present it to administrators who are also working to evaluate these resources that are currently present for transfer students, and hoping to do that in the beginning of March. If anybody is interested in joining the committee, please let me know. I'll share the WhatsApp for the group chat in the chat. But even if you yourself are not interested but know anybody who's a new student or a recent transfer, please also do let me know. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I did want to highlight the work of our speaker, Sandeep Patel. We had a meeting recently to continue discussing the care packages and the resolution that was passed at last meeting. I guess we can move a little bit of this committee Senate reports, but I did want to add, we are working very hard on that, assessing which kind of items should be purchased for students. There is a little bit more of a difficulty with timing there because certain items are production items and must be manufactured before they can be branded or anything else. So that adds things onto the timeline. So we're trying to move forward with those as quickly and conscientiously as possible. The next item on our agenda is item E, Senate reports. So there, I want to start off with the university senators from our meeting last Friday. Are there any reports from the Senate?
May I be recognized?
Recognized.
So speaking of the care packages, I actually just wanted to update everyone that our president Dylan actually got me in contact with Kayla from program board, and they're taking a vote, I believe today, and they should get me a response by tomorrow, as per if they want to join us on the care package initiative. By giving us some funding. So if that happens, we'll have a little extra funds, and then we may consider adding another item to the care package. So it's really exciting, and I'm really happy to be working with program board. So I'll keep you all updated on that as well. And like Harrison said, it all comes down to shipping and how much the package weighs. So we'll definitely need to consider like the packaging and if we can even add the other item. But if not, I'm still really excited. And I know I sent the survey questions to the senators. I'll send it in an email to everyone else. And then if you guys have anything that you want to add to the survey, please let me know as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you so much. I rest my time back to Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. Are there any other reports from the Senate? Are there any reports from university senators?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Hi, everyone. I feel like I have to introduce myself every time. Sarah Shoba, School of Arts and Sciences, Newark representative to the University Senate. There are quite a few things to report, especially because last meeting was set in Newark, quote unquote Newark. And we had the chancellor come speak to the Senate, to the whole Senate. So that was really interesting to see, the chancellor's team be present. As far as University Senate committee reports, I co-chair the Student Affairs Committee with Dr. Elizabeth Maddow from New Brunswick, and we are working on a charge that would evaluate the Rutgers alumni relations with the undergraduate student population, and that report is actually going to be submitted to the executive committee by Wednesday, and we have a meeting today to finalize it and to make sure that it's going to encompass all the research from all different campuses. And we are also working with, actually, that's not my committee. And as far as the executive committee, we are looking into Newark's Coalition of Concerned Citizens, I believe, which will be coming to speak to the executive committee next meeting and talk about Rutgers' mission, university mission, values, and its contributions to the community, and how it is such a stakeholder, shareholder within the community as well. We also. Actually, I want to shed light to this because I thought it was very interesting, and I was actually very proud that one of the business school professors had mentioned it. But a few years ago, 2 years ago, the Rutgers Student Governing Association submitted a resolution that would support sexual assault survivors indefinitely. And this was in light of a case involving a professor. His name is Nabil Adam. And he is a Rutgers administrator, and I believe held a really high title. I'm not sure if this is right, but maybe vice chancellor of research. I could be wrong. Do not quote me on that. But we had one of the professors from the business school ask Chancellor Cantor about the status of the case, because at a certain point he was given a paid administrative leave after allegedly assaulting the student. So it was very challenging to hear that and to see what sort of response the chancellor had. But because it is a legal case, I think it's still ongoing. I'm not fully sure. She was unable to give us a full report about what's happening and to, just share details of the case. However, being one of the main authors of that said resolution that was presented, I believe, a few years ago, I wish the chancellor had said more and been a little bit more transparent with the students. But I understand, being administrative and bureaucratic red tape, that can't be crossed. But the main concern was, why is this professor still hired? Why does he still have a job? And so I wish that we could have this conversation in more depth as an association and move forward with it and hold the administration and that professor accountable, because our university preaches diversity, inclusion, support, and, believing survivors, I think. And so we really need to be showcasing that through all of our efforts. And as the governing body of, as the representative body of the students, I think it's on us to continue that conversation and to hold administrators accountable, no matter their status. So that concludes my report as the SASN senator. I rest my time.
Thank you. Are there any other reports from University Senate?
May I request the floor?
Recognized.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Ricky Castaneda, University Senator from SASN. So some reports from my committee. So I currently sit at the University Structure and Governance Committee. We're finalizing on the charge that I brought up, I think, earlier last year that we were working on, which is in regards to defining student governance and what that does and how that process is. And basically it's non-existent in all across campuses. So we finalized a report. The chair is supposed to send that to the executive committee by Wednesday. That's the due date. And basically it kind of like codifies in the university policy how university senators are elected by students, which is through an election. And that process, according to its current language, it's going to be set up depending on the unit. So what that means is like SAS-N, whichever governance covers SAS-N, or whichever governance handles the CJ school or SPA, like they will decide, by election, like either the SGA or whatever body that represents that unit would decide how that student's elected to represent the school. So more on that, I can definitely share because I don't have the finalized language yet or the charge. So I'll definitely share with everyone. So just to see, get some early feedback and ensure that this is, we get it right the first time. So I'll definitely share that with everyone. Another thing that also to report is there's an ad hoc committee that's being created in the University Senate. Basically, they're trying to figure out, some new positions and like redefining those positions and redefining the role of like what a chair in the University Senate does and what the vice chair in the University Senate does. So that's also going on. And yeah, I think that's all I got for my report. I will reserve the rest of my time back to the chair.
Thank you very much, Senator. Are there any other reports from the University Senate?
May I request the floor again?
Recognized.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Camilla. I'm also a SPA senator within the University Senate. I serve in the Instruction, Curricula, and Advising Committee. I unfortunately was not able to attend the last meeting. However, in January's meeting, we discussed the options of possible charges to request for the semester. Last semester, we focused on evaluating the policies, practices that were put in place for remote instruction in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. This semester, we have narrowed the possible charges down to evaluating different exam conflicts, evaluating the current communication done within the Office of Disability Service, or evaluating asynchronous instruction overall. So I will definitely keep you all updated as more information comes. I also wanted to highlight something within the actual University Senate meeting itself. During the University Senate meeting, President Holloway gave his administrative report in which he mentioned the Phase 2 report of the President's Task Force on Carbon Neutrality and Climate Resilience was published on February 11th. So I highly recommend that everybody reads it to be more aware of the steps that Rutgers is taking to become more carbon neutral and how they are managing the risk of the rising environmental detriments. The reason I want to highlight this is because there is a comment period that's currently running and it's actually due by Friday, March 5th at 5 p.m. So students are able to comment on the current phases that they have. They offered the option to give feedback in phase 1 as well, which not a lot of students took advantage of because the students that did comment were actually able to make a difference in the way that they edited for phase 2. So again, definitely encourage everybody to read it and, see if they agree with everything that's being said or said to be published. Students are able to comment on the phase 2 by reaching out to the Climate Task Force through their social media or using the contact form on their website, which I can also link as well, just so everybody has it. But I think that was it. Okay, yes, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. Senator Chauvin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the university senators because, it's really having gone from almost no representation to a full, Senate slate. I think that's amazing. And it really shows that we are really all interested in this and passionate about what we're doing, and we're trying our best given the circumstances. And I am speaking with the chair of the Senate to, actually, that is an update. I'm speaking with the chair of the Senate to look into the possibility of them being invited to an SGA, general body meeting to speak on the importance of student involvement, especially from Camden and Newark, and the importance of student representation, but also how we can move forward and making sure that we are not excluding different campuses by making attendance in person a requirement. One of the things that I ran on for executive committee is looking into how we can transform attendance, and because historically Newark and Camden students are not able to be in attendance at New Brunswick every single month or twice a month even. And so looking into how we could have something like Zoom once things go back to quote unquote normal, and students and senators still being able to attend, to ensure that there's full commitment from all different campuses and there are no obstacles in representation. But I really just want to give a quick shout out to all the senators on University Senate, because we're all doing the hard work on our committees, and we are making sure that the students' voices are being heard and going back to the students and ensuring that they have input used in these decisions. And so yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you, Senator Shobit. And I just want to extend that to really all the members of the association right now. I know it's been a very tough semester. I know several people have had to step down for various reasons, but just the fact that we have a full entire serving association in every single branch is unprecedented, let alone considering everything that's going on with the worldwide pandemic and all the other crises in the world at the moment. The fact that all of you are able to spend the time here every Monday serving students and outside in committees, or if you're in University Senate, basically your entire Friday, that really means a lot. And I'm personally grateful. I hope other students are able to appreciate all the effort that we're trying to put forward for this. So yeah, thank you. I will add briefly for University Senate reports. Thank you, Speaker. Yeah. For RCM. So I know we've touched upon this previously. There were some concerns raised by other student governing associations, namely Camden and New Brunswick as well. So RCM is the budgetary model that Rutgers uses. It stands for Responsibility-Centered Management. So there are centers which create revenue or generate value for the university that fund centers that cost centers that take in funds. So most of the value generating centers are places that accept tuition from students, right? Different universities, different schools, and the like. And some cost centers include administrative units, athletic facilities, and the like. So there is a lot of concern about this, and these are consistent issues that faculty, staff have been raising. It's only more recently that students have been able to be informed and get involved. But the main concerns are over collaboration, because RCM is seen as incentivizing competition between different units rather than allowing for them to collaborate or share the funds generated by students, lack of transparency, and just overall creating an us versus them mentality, because it's mostly administrators who are responsible for and in charge of administering this model, right, or generating the algorithms that determine how the costs are shared. So right now there is an RCM review committee, which is five-year review after RCM was implemented back in 2015. From our campus, Senior Vice Chancellor Afwani Monga is sitting on the committee, as well as other executive financial administrators from New Brunswick and Camden. And they actually gave a really good overall summary of what RCM is and how they're doing. At the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, which I thought was very impressive. And overall, they pointed to, the fact that budget models do not create or destroy funds. If a particular department, right, that, this is the source side that faculty, staff, and students would see, if a particular department is not getting funding or anything like that, it's mostly determined by the heads of the RCM units, which would be relatively the chancellors and up. So essentially they were urging us, if there are any funding priorities that we do not think are being addressed, to take it up with the heads of the RCM units. Because the heads of RCM units can collaborate, they just might not have been given the tools to do so, or they might not be as informed. So that's part of the role of the oversight committee so far. I have like a page of more notes and comprehensive details. If any of you are interested, I can send that out. But all of that is to say that Camden and our campus and potentially New Brunswick will be collaborating to generate a report, just so in the future, students and student leaders can be educated about our university's budgetary policies. And so that way we won't have to relearn or get more meetings to know all of this information. I will add, just reiterating, President Holloway did speak at great length during his administrative report for University Senate. He talked about the COVID-19 efforts with testing and continuing to expand that. Our university is doing quite well overall, with less than 2% positivity rate overall and less than 1% on our Newark campus. And he did mention, with great sorrow, the fact that we still have, these horrific events that occurred during Black History Month and, previous events as well. And they are conducting investigations, but due to the virtual nature and anonymous nature of these crimes, it'll be difficult to find the perpetrators. That's not to say that nothing can be done, which is why they're reiterating and really trying to emphasize the Zoom security. There was a town hall that was held and a response that was sent out, and we're going to continue having these conversations and training student leaders. Just for some brief points, I know I included it in the email as well as in the agenda, but I just want to send it in the chat again. This is from the School of Social Work. Obviously, in moving to virtual classes and virtual clinical hours, they have a lot of experience in confidentiality and privacy. So one of the easiest things to do is to make sure that the meeting ID is generated every single time. And if possible, if you have not already, please do activate your Rutgers Zoom. I'll try and pull the link for that up. And encourage, organizations or people with events you're holding to limit it in the meeting options. You can select it so that only Rutgers can join. So they'll have to sign in through their central authentication services in order to access the meeting. So those are just 2 links, and there will be continued trainings, and we'll have our vice president reporting back to us on those. So I believe that's everything from the University Senate meeting. Are there any other senator reports? Are there any other senator reports? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to old business. Since there is no old business, we'll move on to new business. And we have a couple absences. So if there is no objection, we will be approving the absence of Community Outreach Senator Adele. Okay, hearing no objection, their absence has been approved. If there's no objection, we will be approving, I believe Miriam managed to make it, so I'll remove that. If there's no objection, we'll be approving the absence of RBS Senator Robert Jones. Okay, hearing no objection, Robert's absence has also been approved. Okay, so if there is no new business, we will now move to hearing of the SGA, where any association member is free to comment. Are there any comments from any members of the association?
May I request the floor?
Recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to kind of echo the stuff that Senator Schobert has introduced to us earlier about the resolution that we passed 2 years ago, I think it was, almost, in regards to the actions of always standing indefinitely with survivors on campus and ensuring that we actually do something about that, given that we are the governing body of students and we're supposed to represent the students, that includes survivors as well. And so the fact that we still have this individual, Nabil Adams, still on Rutgers payroll, it's totally unacceptable. And regardless if there's like litigation going on whatsoever, like what is it that's taking so long? That's so obvious that clearly someone was left hurt and harmed, and like we have done we as the university has done nothing about it. And so like I feel that we need to definitely kind of do something, kind of an update, figure out what's going on, because it has been almost 2 years since that resolution has passed, and like we kind of need some answers. And so I don't know if yes, good. If I don't know, Chairman, if you want to maybe pop up that resolution that we're talking about, so that
Yeah, I mean, do you remember the legislative year? I'm going to try and find the info.
It's the year before, so it had to be 2018, 2019.
2018. Okay, let me try and find that.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I guess just to add on to what Holloway said in the University Senate meeting, he did talk about commencement and that like it's kind of logistically impossible, but he also did say this other thing where he kind of ended it on like a promise note, which I don't know if people want to, know what he promised, but basically he said that like he's going to try. He obviously can't make any premature promises, but he says that it is a promise that he'll try to get the classes of 2020 and 2021 to have some in-person celebration. But not like, once everyone's vaccinated, once we're in the clear from the pandemic. But yeah, so that's another thing that Holloway also said at this meeting that we were in. So I'll yield my time back.
Thank you, Senator. Unfortunately, I don't believe we have 2018, 2019, since a lot of those were created using personal Scarlet mails, and I was not able to find it. But if any of the senators who helped author that or were part of that can send it to the speaker, and I will definitely send that out and add that to the drive as well. And I was a little bit caught off guard and a little bit busy, so I haven't been able to completely make PDFs for everything. But that's something that we're working on as well. Thank you. Are there any other reports from the association? Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering so commencement right now is, I think, one of the biggest conversations that's happening. And I was wondering, so I know the president said that there's a focus group per se, that is in conversations with the administration. So how are we making sure that, because the whole, I think one of the issues is that students were not involved in these conversations, right? So how are we making sure that, we are ensuring that all students have a say in this? And I think, especially the graduating class, but also the underclass people, to ensure safety and whatnot. And given what President Holloway said, with the promise that we will try to do something in 2020 for 2020, 2021 graduates, is that also being discussed at this time with this group, or do we not know? Do we know who is a part of the group?
Yes. So I really wish our president was here, because I know he's been far more involved with that and those efforts. But I believe the focus group is being composed of, I believe it's the president, some members from program board, the program board executive board, some members from IFSC, and 2 or 3 other students, if my memory serves. Don't quote me on that, but that's a rough composition. So it's mostly made up of students from the representing governing boards. And to my knowledge, at least, it's been fairly slow going. They started, I think, a number of weeks ago. Thank you, Senator Castaneda, for sending that resolution. I'll try and add that right now. But they've been working and having these meetings from a while ago, but it's been very difficult, as I'm sure you can understand, since it's not exactly a decision that we can just make at the Newark local level. And I don't know if they've been able to meet since the President Holloway's University Senate meeting. The University Senate meeting this past Friday was the first time I heard of Holloway specifically going, there will be only virtual commencements. So I think that's another one of the difficulties with this group, right? Because we unfortunately, as a Newark campus, cannot make that decision, and I don't know how much President Holloway's statements can be negotiated. So I don't know if that answers your question at all.
Yes and no, but one thing that you mentioned is that they have been meeting for quite a while. What is that how do you define quite a while?
I remember that we were talking about the composition of it at least like a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't really been checking in with that group, and I'm not really aware of what's going on in those meetings. Yeah.
Okay. My only concern with that is I'm not sure if that was before or after the announcement of the virtual commencement.
Oh, no. Like we've been trying, I know a vice president who's also sadly absent because she's attending Zoom trainings, but she was like very active in like pushing for it, going like, hey, this university is doing in person, right? Keene University, TCNJ, like all these are NJ universities are trying to do that. And they've been pushing for that. I think this Friday was like the first time, at least I I can't speak for eBoard, but anyone else had heard of, oh, we're doing virtual from President Holloway. So I don't know if they've been able to reorganize since, how they're adjusting to that. I can't speak to that, but we've been pushing for trying to have, some kind of in-person, safe distance commencement for at least a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I guess, okay, so was this group formed before the president's announcement via email?
Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I'm not able to answer more questions. I haven't really been in those meetings or in contact with that, but I definitely will ask the president, maybe send a message on WhatsApp or like an email or something just so he can clarify things. Yeah. Secretary Castaneda, I don't believe I have access. I don't know if you can make it available to view by link. The resolution was sent in the chat as well. Are there any other reports from the association? Or any other comments just from association members?
Yes, may I be recognized?
Recognized. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Senator David Doughty, the Student Affairs Senator. Excuse me if you can't really hear me that well. I'm trying to get to PRCC in the snow. My first comment was, I found it hysterical how President Holloway's power extends to jurisdiction over graduation, but it didn't extend when it came to pass, fail, no credit. And I was like pulling teeth and whatnot, just trying to get that through, but that's neither here nor there. My second comment is regarding resolution that we passed last week. I have met with some senators recently, and we are working on some next steps. Like I said last week, and multiple senators agreed, this cannot be a one and done deal. We can't just slap our names.
Senator Doughty? I think he might have been disconnected. So hopefully he's able to get into PRCC and reconnect. I know he's been hopping in and out of the meetings, but we did speak about this at our advisory meeting with Dean Williams as well. If there are next steps, I'm sorry that I've been unavailable past week with Lunar Festival and everything, but please do reach out to the speaker and we're eager to hear it, and our administration is really receptive as well. I think that's one thing that sets our Newark campus apart. The fact that we have the Dean of Students regularly meeting with us, advising us, and even the Chancellor's office, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Thomas, not Dr. Nice Thomas, Dr. Thomas from the Chancellor's office is very available and very much committed to supporting students. So if there are specific measures that the senators would like to see taken or students would like to see taken, please do reach out and we can set up those meetings and try and figure out how we can work collaboratively to make sure it happens. So we'll just wait for Senator David to reconnect and he can request the floor once again. Are there any other comments from the association? Okay. I will add, if you have any initiatives, if you have any ideas, anything, please do reach out to the speaker and I. We're here to help support you and make sure things happen. And with that, I want to open up to hearing of the public, since I know there are a few members from the public who expressed interest as well. Yes, Rakesh.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, you're coming through.
Awesome. So, one thing I wanted to talk about was actually Resolution 6, which is the one that talks about the care package. And I wanted to start out by saying that I do appreciate the initiative you guys are putting into the care package. I know that there was a discussion about how the business school only got a care package last semester, and you wanted to do more like an opt-in program for students for next semester, I believe it is, right? Fall? Yeah. So I actually saw the items on the list, and I personally was not happy with some of them. So I actually wanted to get student input on the items on the list. And because again, I do think the program, I think a care package is great, an idea. I think it's something that we should definitely do. It's just, I feel like some of the items could be improved. And I know there are size dimensions issues with it. So yesterday I actually sent out a student survey through through a club's emailing list, essentially. And we actually did get 30 responses on the emailing list stuff, which I can actually link in the chat, or rather just send the file in the chat if needed be. But around 45% of the people who actually saw the program packet were not satisfied with the items inside of it. And then I opened a box to say, what would you like items, or what items would you like to see in the packet? Some of them were a little bit unrealistic, like for example, like gift cards and cases, iPhone cases, but that's fine. They usually get those. But one of the more popular ones, almost 20 out of 30 people, 20 out of 30 people said they wanted masks, and 16 out of 30 people said they wanted hand sanitizer, and even like 22 out of 30 people said they actually wanted like different types of Rutgers, like swag or merch. So like, I just wanted to like, and then on top of that, I left a little box to whatever people would like customize. Like, so people said like Clorox wipes, planners, calendars, phone pockets, like stuff like that. So I just wanted to express, like, I do 100% support the idea of a care package. It's just, I don't support items like, for example, the camera cover, where every student knows how to turn off their camera. And it just makes it obsolete, and I feel like it's a useless spending item. And I just feel like during a global pandemic, like I'm like one of the people who supports the hand sanitizer and the mask. It does fit the size constraints, and I think it's way more useful than like a camera cover.
Thank you very much for your feedback. Yeah, no, that's really great. Thank you for reaching out and like conducting that survey with students as well. If you can send that in the chat, as well as to some emails here. I don't know if you've been able to reach out or contact us previously. I apologize if there's any delay. But if you can send it to those 3 emails, that would be really great. And we can definitely take a closer look at that survey.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Do you want me to send it as like an Excel file? Would that be
no, that's fine. Whatever format's most convenient.
Okay.
But yeah. Thank you for collecting that feedback. I can't speak for the committee, and I don't know if our speaker wants to add anything, but the original thought behind like the items chosen were obviously we want to optimize, right, like the size, the weight versus the value to students, right, and the cost itself. So the camera covers was included just because we know that there have been many privacy concerns in the past regarding the use of cameras or surveillance, right? And even if, you turn your camera off on Zoom, right? If there is malicious software or anything like that on your computer, most of the time there's not, of course, and hopefully everyone has antivirus and those sort of protections. But if there is that malicious software, even if you turn it off for a program, others might still be able to access your camera. So that was the original thinking behind that. But hearing that so many students want masks and want hand sanitizer, we definitely will try and take that into consideration as well. Yes, thank you. I'm glad Senator David was able to rejoin. I don't know if the speaker wants to add anything or if any committee members want to add anything from the working group.
Yeah, Yeah, I'd love to add just something really quick. So we did actually look into like apparel stuff, like a mask, maybe even a t-shirt. But the problem is that we're kind of on a strict timeline because we want to get this out to students before the semester ends. So if we add apparel and if we add masks, the issue is that it'll take longer for it to be produced. So basically, like a little information, in order to get like any apparel stuff, like it needs to have time to imprint the logo, the Rutgers logo, or anything that will go onto the merch. So it'll take longer to produce, and most likely the packages wouldn't be able to arrive to the students before the semester is over. So that was like an issue that we ran into, and also that'll affect the shipping cost as well as the package cost in general, because it'll cost more for those items. I can definitely talk with the committee about the hand sanitizer. I think that that's a great idea. And I'll definitely be taking a closer look at your survey. And I just want to say that I really appreciate the hard work that you put into this. And thank you for getting us the feedback and being able to join us at our meeting and informing us about all of this. But yeah, I hope that kind of gives some sort of clarification. And we have been trying to look into other items. It's just that we are so restricted, not only because of time, but also cost. And yeah, so that's really it. If I think that maybe we can set up a meeting together to discuss this further. So I'll be reaching out to you as well. So thank you again.
Awesome. I want to add, so this survey is, again, a day old. We have 30 responses, which is still a good amount of opinions. But throughout this survey is actually going to be continuously active. I'm going to keep it up, and I'm also going to add it to other emailing lists as well for other clubs. So they're actually going to gain responses by the time we do set up our meeting. And as for the time constraint, I don't know. It's just in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know how much it will delay the process, and I understand cost is an issue. But the thing is that depending on how much the differential is for the cost, I think most students would understand a delay in the package for something useful rather than something they keep in the side to throw out. Because again, this is like student money. This is something that like you guys want to work, you guys want to be appreciated for, and they want students to use. So if anything, I can always put out more surveys. I can ask more data saying like, would you actually use this as an item if you guys would actually like that to do? Because I have decent amount of outreach to these students. So I can always put out more data, more surveys if you'd actually like me to.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's like I don't know what survey tool you're using, if you're using, I know Rutgers uses Qualtrics, or if you're just using Google Forms, right, and linking to a spreadsheet, any data that you can collect would definitely be welcome, right? Because we want to have the student opinion, and you're right, this is student funds, right? That's why we're trying to, move forward as judiciously as possible. And, I personally, for me, like when I saw that number, it was like a oof in the gut feeling, like the fact that we are spending that much money, on this initiative. We really want to make sure it has that impact. So if you can send the survey to those emails, we definitely will reach out and try and schedule that meeting, right? Just so we can collect that input and make sure that whatever we get, students will appreciate it. And maybe even consider extending the timeline a bit, just like you mentioned, if that's really how students feel.
Yeah, of course. That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for joining me and organizing all this, really. I did want to consider Senator David, since I know you're raising your hand, you got disconnected halfway through. Just for some context, I did mention, of course, as I'm sure you know, everyone in the association is really working to support students. Dean Williams, Dr. Thomas from the Chancellor's Office are really listening to see if there are specific next steps, so that way we can work collaboratively on those. So Senator David. Senator Doughty.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Hey everybody, again, I'm back. I'm on campus, and I'm pretty sure all of you know how the Rutgers Wi-Fi here is. So I apologize for that. But what I was saying was I reached out with some senators, reached out with me, and we are working on next steps. One of the ideas we came together on was including in the program package for some orgs, well, all orgs, as well as us as an SGA. Since program packets are something that's completed, I believe it's, if not per year, per semester, and it's a mandatory thing, you complete all the items in it. To add into that program packet, I guess in collaboration with OSLL and RIC, some diversity trainings, as well as racial and bias trainings regarding the Zoom bombings, as well as in addition to the Zoom trainings. I am set to email Gary, I'm sorry, yes, I'm set to email and collaborate with IRC and Dean Pendant soon so that we can start getting the ball running and also present a resolution coming up soon. So we can have it rather than practice, make this something that's policy. But yeah, as I said last week, and I'll continue to say it, issues like this, especially at the most diverse campus in the nation, if not the world, and out of the 3 Rutgers campuses with the, I guess you could say we are the most diverse of the 3. This isn't a one and done type of issue. This is something that we have to keep pushing and we have to keep fighting on. We have to keep progressing on. And yeah, let's not drop the ball on this. I'm looking and hoping for any and all collaboration and all helping efforts. And yeah, let's keep, doing the work. I'm loving this semester so far and all the productivity and every initiative that's going on. I hope to help out other senators. And in addition, in return, I hope to get some help too. Thank you. And I, withdraw my time.
Thank you for speaking on that. That sounds like a great initiative. I know IRC has had multiple diversity trainings like throughout fall as well as the semester. I'm sure Gary will be eager to hear from you. I just did want to throw in once again the Diversity Strategic Planning Assessment Survey. And when we're talking about this change, right, and the need for these initiatives, it can't just be at our local campus level, right? I mean, hopefully, whatever happens, it was not members of our community, and we definitely need the trainings for every single member of our community. But we also need this change to happen on an institutional level, on a policy level. And that's what part of President Holloway's goal for building a beloved community. And that's why there's the new office for Senior Vice President for Diversity and Equity. So please do complete and promote the Diversity Strategic Planning Assessment Survey. I know it's a lot of words, it's a longer survey, but this does help guide the university on how these policies and how these next steps will be formed. There's also the website here for those of you who are interested in learning more. And I have reached out to Dr. Branch, so hopefully she'll share more presentations and information with us. As soon as we get those, we will make those available to the public, as well as all of our association members. Are there any
one more thing? I apologize.
No, of course.
I'm sure Mira or another member from the Student Affairs Committee already acknowledged this, but yes, we did meet for the first time, had a good meeting, and we're set to do some groundwork soon. We will be working on and pushing through the line items for resolution, I believe it was R5, when it comes to investing in our future. And I also went to, I'm sure, or if you don't, Howard University down in Washington, DC. I attended one of their general body meetings. I actually spoke with their parliamentarian and their, to us, with Bundy as our speaker, they call it their executive chair. We spoke about some things regarding how they run their student government and some of their initiatives that they have been pushing lately. One of theirs that really caught my eye, especially for the environmental committee. And I spoke with the environmental committee chair, Jordan, about this a couple of times already, and we're working to get that done too. They have something I want to replicate here for Rutgers called the Student Green Fund, where they have for their general fund, same. There's an application process where students or orgs like NJ Perk can submit an application of a project they want to work on to make Rutgers greener. And environmental project, whether it's cleaning up the campus, something that's making us a step closer to going 100% green. You submit the application, us as a Senate and as a body look over it, and we either say yay or nay to funding that, and then they go forward with the initiative. Of course, there's a cap to it because we can't have 100 projects and all of our general fund going out at once, all towards that, of course. But yes, if there's any senators willing to help on that, and also, I'm also looking for help there too. But and yes, this now concludes my spiel for today.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Warner.
Permission for the floor?
Recognized?
Yeah. So actually, David attended my first environmental meeting, and he brought that up, environmental committee meeting. And I wanted to mention that too. So that was a great segue. And so I really wanted to work on that initiative with David through the environmental committee. And I figured that would be a great way. And I'm going to be meeting as an update for everyone. There was some turnout at the meeting, but I'm wishing there was more, especially more senators. Not saying anything, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be moving the meetings to Tuesdays from 8 to 8:30 weekly. And I think that will be better time because I feel like that's when most meetings are over, classes are done by then. And I'm hoping I'll have more of a turnout where everyone's done with work, whatever they have to do for the day. And so we're having our second, but kind of our first meeting Tuesday at 8 to 8:30. I can drop the link down below. And I really want to work on that initiative with David. And I have a couple other student initiatives through the environmental committee that we want to work on. I'll bring it more when I get more of I'll bring it up more when I get more of a concrete plan and more concrete materials, and seeing that these students actually want to come to continue coming to the meetings and actually are trying to work on their initiatives. But basically, I really want to help David with that. And nope, PM, don't worry, not in the morning. Okay, yeah, that'd be horrible, getting up at 8:30 in the morning to do that. But thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you guys more. And I'll drop the meeting for the group meal like always in the group chat. Thank you, guys. I rest my time.
Thank you, Senator Warner. And Caitlin, great to see you.
Hi everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Caitlin. I'm the campus organizer working for NJ Perk students. And yeah, I was not here last week, sadly. I had tonsillitis. It's like a whole other thing. But anyway, I'm here to talk about our updates for NJ Perk. So I know we talked, you guys heard a little bit about our hunger and homelessness campaign. So I just wanted to give a quick update on that campaign. But this week they are, of course, really excited to work with all the partners for their panel, working to address not just food insecurity, but also housing insecurity on campus for college students. And we're kicking off that momentum this week by with our National Lobby Day, where we're advocating for COVID relief funding and Pell Grant funding for college students. We'll be meeting with Cory Booker's staff and Representative Donald Payne Jr.'s staff. So if you guys have any things that as Rutgers students that you guys want us to mention as representing Rutgers Newark students, definitely let me know, and we'll make sure to have that as one of our asks. And on our 100% campaign, there was definitely lots of talk about this President Task Force Carbon Neutrality and Resilience plan that was released on February 10th. But as in working on this campaign for our 100% renewable energy campaign, we saw that there were 4 important items that were absent from the climate action plan, which we believe must be included in any comprehensive path to carbon neutrality. So we believe that a commitment for 100% renewable energy by 2030, and a commitment to transition to all electric buses by 2030 on all Rutgers campuses should be included, and provisions for establishing an Office of Sustainability to coordinate and track all the progress. And lastly, a commitment to fully divest Rutgers endowment from fossil fuels investments, which we know that there is already a committee working on that within SGA especially, but we definitely want to see that included in the plan so we can all make sure that we're holding Rutgers accountable. And we are drafting a letter right now that we would love to get, and I will send it out when it's not going to be completed, of course, because we want, all other student organizations like SGA to, add anything that they, of course, want to make included, but we definitely would love your organization to sign on this letter, and we'll have our first draft tomorrow. And so I'll make sure to send that out to your SGA email so you guys can all preview it.
Definitely. Thank you for all the updates, Caitlin. Fantastic work as always. Those sound like great action steps. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the chance to review the action plan from the Climate Task Force completely, but thank you for doing that. And we're looking forward to the letter. And I met with Sally actually this past week. I don't know if she mentioned, but I'm really looking forward to that campaign as well.
Awesome. Yeah, she did.
Senator Shobit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually want to jump off of Caitlin's point because in our executive committee meeting, the last meeting of February, we talked about divestment and the report on Oh my God, wait. Sorry, got a call. So there's a committee that's working on the divestment and looking and is writing a report actually. And the last conversation that we had, they were waiting a response from the Senate. And so the chairman, John Oliver, said that he was going to be reaching out to them. So I will follow up on that and try to find out more information so I can relay it back to both the Senate and NJPIRG and more information on it. So basically the committee is, so the Senate, especially the executive committee, was having conversations about a broader approach rather than just, fossil fuel divestment, but creating a more socially responsible investments and looking into, the future rather than just pulling out from anything fossil fuels and ensuring, actual social justice to the communities and ensuring that Rutgers is not contributing to the harm that is causing not only to the environment, but also to the people and the different communities that we serve. So.
Thank you very much, Senator Chauvette. I know that Senator Warner and our president have been involved in that divestment committee. I believe it's slightly above our level. I think it's at the chancellor's level or appointed by chancellor, something along those lines. But it's great to hear that we're thinking about a more holistic and comprehensive approach. And hopefully all these recommendations can be considered in the implementation from President Barchi's task force for climate and sustainability. Are there any other comments from members of the association or the public? Media senators, media committee, do you have any comments on the YouTube live stream?
No comments.
Are there any further comments? Senator Chauvette?
I was gonna motion to adjourn.
Okay. We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second that.
All right, motion then seconded. So unless someone calls me to order, as per usual, we'll forego the 2/3 votes. Thank you all for attending. Unfortunately, since Secretary Tallo is sick, hopefully you can deal with my notes for today's meeting. I'm sorry if I was a little bit distracted with Boba as well. But yeah, thank you all for your time taking to serve students, especially during everything else that's going on, the pandemic, schoolwork, classes, work, and really all of it. It really means a lot. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Drive safe. I know it's snowing a bit. Yeah, take care, everyone. Good luck in class.
Bye, y'all. Have a great day. Wear a mask.